Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's session where we will be going through the CBC career pathways and we will be discussing you as a parent or as a teacher. How do you guide your student, your child through this part of deciding which pathway to pick? What options do you have? What is or what are some of the provisions that the Ministry of Education has given in terms of guidelines in these different career pathways? This is going to be a very interesting and engaging conversation, and I want to jump straight into it. And I'm really excited that you were able to find time to be able to join me. As I start off, probably just leave in the comment. I'll just ask you to just say hi in the comment. Let me know where you're joining me from, where you're watching, and what is your expectation for today's session. Just to take you through my presentation today, we are going to cover three main things. Number one, I'm going to share with you what are the different learning styles that you can be able to identify for your child and see how do you support and help them be able to learn and get the most from their preferred learning styles. Then we will have a moment to just explore some of the career pathways that are available in the CBC curriculum. And then we will look at a CBC aptitude assessment that you can be able to use. And this will help you understand your child better and help them as you guide them through this process of deciding the career pathway that they will take. I'm really excited that this is going to be a very eye-opening conversation. So if you have any question, feel free to drop that in the comments or in the chat. I'll be able to pick them along as we go. And let me know also from the chat your name and where you're joining us from and what you're expecting to learn from this session. So my question to you is, are you ready? If you're ready, let me know in the comments and say, yes, you are ready. So let me just put this in. I can see a few of us joining us. Just the question is, are you ready? If you're ready, just drop that in the comments and say, yes, you are ready. I'll be able to pick it up as we proceed. So where do you start? For those of you who are seeing me for the very first time, my name is Daniel Mutuku. I am the founder of Career Point Solutions. And over the last 14 years, I have been blessed to be a teacher, also gained a lot of experience as a career coach and career counselor. And what I am going to bring on board or share with you today is based on the insights that I've gathered over these years. I'm also a certified digital marketer by Google, and among other groups, I am a proud member of the League of Young Professionals. So let's just dive straight into it and look at the idea of career choices. How did you end up in the career that you're in? Probably that is a question that you can ask yourself. How did you end up where you are at? It might be a choice. You decided this is what I want to do, and yes, you are in that career. It might be that is the only option that you had. You had an opportunity to go to college or university. That is the course that you had, and you picked it and you went with it. Some of you were forced into the careers that you're in. Your parents said, I want you to be this, or this is what you're going to do, or we are not going to support you. There are different ways that you might have ended up in the career that you're in. But in this day and age, because our children have more agency, or we would want to support them so that they can end up in the career that they are really happy in, there are three ways that they can end up there. One would be based on talent, because this is something that they're happy, this is something they are good at, this is a strength of theirs. They can really do something better over and above the others because this is an area that they are talented in, or you can look at it in terms of it is their strength. Also, someone can end up in their career based on passion because this is something that you're passionate about. This is a cause that you'd want to push forward. This is something that really is dear to your heart, and you end up making a career out of that kind of passion. And the third way would be based on money. And there's nothing wrong picking a career just because it pays well. I know when we were growing up, being a doctor, being an engineer, being a pilot, being a lawyer, those were the kind of career paths that you might be forced to go into. And the very basic reason is because you will be paid well. And there's nothing wrong with that. As we will be discussing as we go along, the money component is also very important when it comes to deciding which career to pick. Why is that so? If you get to a career based on what you're passionate about, what you love, that is good. It's almost a dream. And if you can be able to combine it with something that you're really talented in, then that ends up being almost like a passion. Because if it only has the passion and talent, it's more of a hobby. But only when you bring in the money aspect, then does it become a dream you're passionate about. It is making you money, then that is almost a dream come true. But if it is something that makes you money, you're talented in, you're something that it is something that you've been trained in, you might end up being again rich but miserable because it's not something that is dear to your heart. And a winning combination is if we are able to guide our students or our children or even ourselves to that dream point where it's something that you're passionate about, it has some talent in it, and also is bringing in the money. That is connected to what I call the learning styles, and you will see how all this adds up. Mainly, we have three types of learning styles. The first one being visual. And these are students or children who, or even adults, anyone who tends to learn a lot through seeing and observing information, images, and diagrams. So the idea of using their eyes to see something plays a very big part in them understanding what it is that you're talking about or you're discussing. The other learning style is what we call auditory, and these are learners who learn through listening, repetition, listening and having that kind of repetition of the information being said over and over. And the third category or learning style is when we have an individual who learns best through active participation or performing that information that is being shared with them. And I'm sure you can reflect back and say, yes, I probably fall in one of these categories. But let's just do a very simple exercise here, just trying to identify which is your learning style. I'm a teacher, as I said earlier. I do teach science, and I want to introduce to you a very simple concept called balanced forces. So, if I want to teach you and teach my class about this concept, the first thing I might do is just read a definition or write on the board and read out the definition that balanced forces is when you have forces of equal size acting in opposite direction. And when an object is being acted upon by balanced forces, it remains at rest or stays in motion at a constant speed. Once I read like that, if you're an auditory learner, you will get the concept. You will tend to be like, oh, I think I get what this guy is saying. And that is what happens in the classroom. Your child being there and your teacher is explaining something and they are talking and repeating it and saying it in different words, the student, your child is able to understand. If they understand, they tend most likely to be auditory learners. Now, as a teacher, I will not leave it there. I will take to the next level and try and demonstrate what is this aspect that we are talking about balanced forces. So I can go on the board, draw two arrows, same length, pointing in different directions, and then I tell them this is an example of balanced forces, whereby on one end I have a force of 20 newtons pushing on this side and another force of 20 newtons pushing on the other side. They're going in opposite direction. So what happens? The object will not move or it will continue to move at a constant speed. And with that, some students will be like, now I tend to start to understand what the teacher is talking about because now I am appealing to their visual part. So visual learners will tend to kind of grasp what I'm talking about. Then I can go ahead and even show an image like this or just remind them of the time they had sports day there was a tug of war, one end pulling at a certain force and another end same force, nothing was moving. So this is a demonstration of balanced forces. And just from the visual, a student would understand, yeah, I get what the teacher is saying. But we can take it to a notch higher and try and appeal now to the kinesthetic learner so that they can understand this concept. If we have time, and I'd planned it in my lesson, I will take the student out and we'll have a tug of war. Or if that is too much of a hassle, we can have a simple, it's called arm wrestling. And if we have, I have some volunteers, some students, I ask them, come, let's try do some arm wrestling. When they are pushing at the same force, nothing is moving. I tell them that is balanced forces. And based on that, you can be able to gauge yourself. By the way, I would want to know in the chat, based on that simple concept that I have just shared with you of balanced forces, which one did you understand? Is it when I just read the definition? Is it when I showed you the diagrams? Or is it when probably you would want to engage in that physical activity yourself? So that is just a demonstration that our students learn in different ways. Our children will learn in different ways, and that will also affect probably the kind of career path that will be fitted for them. Now, we can summarize and say that for the visual learners, they will tend to learn more while seeing images, pictures, videos, graphs, illustration, PowerPoint, articles, and they will learn more. Our auditory learners will most likely engage themselves in one-on-one conversations. Maybe they will listen to an audio program, a podcast, group discussion, oral presentation, or sometimes even a video because it has the voice or the audio part of it. And when they hear, they understand. And kinesthetic learners are those who would want to do hands-on things. They will be walking while talking. Or even in the workplace, you've had people who have their meetings while walking. They will want to engage in role play. They will be taking notes. Unfortunately, sometimes teachers might label such students as maybe they're being disruptive in class, but because they're always willing to volunteer, to role play, to try out something, to do something in class, because when they are physically engaged, that is when they learn the most. How is that then connected to these career pathways? According to the Ministry of Education, they have given us this as the pathway through which the students or children in the CBC curriculum are able to move through. Of course, they start from the pre-primary, lower primary, upper primary, and right now we have the cohort of students, the first group who are in junior secondary. And this is what I was really targeting. If you're a parent of a child who is in junior secondary, this will be of much value to you because we are getting now to that transition. This is when the students are in grade 7, 8, and 9. The first group right now just completed grade 8. They will be doing grade 9 next year. And then from there, they will go to the senior secondary school. And as they go to the senior secondary school, they will have to pick one of these career paths. So there is art and sports science, there is the social sciences, and there is STEM. Let me take a little bit of some time to be able to explain this further. What does this entail? Now, if a student is to go to STEM, or let's start from the point where, does your child know which career path they would want to pick? Do you have an idea of which career path your child should pick? If we say it is STEM, what is STEM? STEM basically stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And in the STEM career path at the CBC, it has again 4 branches where we have pure sciences, applied sciences, engineering, and career and technology studies. If your child is to pick any of the STEM curriculum, pathway, they might end up at different careers probably at the end of their journey in that section. For pure sciences, we're talking about someone being a scientist, a mathematician, a physicist, a chemist. If we are talking about applied sciences, this will be like actuarial scientist, agricultural engineering, food scientist, technologist. If you're talking about engineering, they might end up being in technical technicians, in mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, metrologist, and stuff. If we're talking about career and technology studies, someone would end up being a software engineer, web developer, cybersecurity, user experience designer, and stuff. So that might be the end product. But at this point, they will need to decide which pathway seem to be or appropriate to them. There is that option that we know that they will be placed to pick one of these career paths, and we'll get there. But just to give you an idea of what this STEM is all about. Secondly, we have the career path of social sciences. And under social sciences, there are three branches. We have what we call languages, there's humanities, and there's business studies. If your child decides to go, for example, with languages, some of the future careers that they might end up pursuing would be being an interpreter, a translator, journalist, copywriter. If they go to humanities, they can be a historian, philosopher, sociologist. Then there's the other side where we talk about business studies. They might end up being an accountant, financial analyst, there is human resource, business analysis, and all that. So that is another option that they will need to take. The other third option, based on the CBC curriculum, would be the arts and sports sciences. So here again, we have sports science as a branch, visual art, and performing art. And under sports science, some of the possible careers that they might end up being in would be like a sports coach, sports nutritionist, personal trainer. Visual art will include a visual artist, sculptor, painter, art director, and performing art will include acting, a musician, choreographer, theater director, and stuff. Those would be the probable end career that they would pick. Now, we find ourselves where it might be very difficult for you as a parent to even guide your child which career path they should pick, because currently today they want to be the doctor, tomorrow they want to be the pilot, the next day they want to be the lawyer or the footballer and something of that. So what happens is the government, as they transition the students and place them in the different secondary schools, they will place them in a specific career pathways. And what options do you have as a parent? Number one, you can advise the child, this is what you do, this is what will be good for you based on how I see your capabilities. And if that is difficult, I want to introduce to you what we call the CBC aptitude assessment. Now, this is a locally designed assessment here at Career Point Solution that we felt that it is good for us to be able to give parents and teachers scientifically proven tools that will help them guide the students on which career path that will be best for them. So what is this aptitude assessment all about? Number one, it is an online assessment that is designed for students aged between 11 to 14. This is a student who is grade 6, 7, in grade 8 or grade 9. They can be able to take this assessment and it will give them a prediction on what would be the best career pathway for them. What it will do, it will evaluate what we are calling the learning styles and the potential career pathways. So from this assessment, you can use it as the foundation of the conversation that you're having as you guide your students or your child to do it. How long does it take? It takes just 10, 15, 20 minutes to complete, and you will instantly get the results. And thereafter, we can discuss and we will agree on a time where we can do one-on-one career coaching with you and your child. Now, this is the kind of results that you will get. At the assessment, it will say, based on the learning styles, your child is 83% kinesthetic, based on how they responded to that assessment. And this means that this child, when information is presented to them, they absorb 83% of the information from the kinesthetic style when they are allowed to engage in it. It does not mean that they can't learn from any other style. As you can see, they will absorb 66% of the information from the auditory learning style. And if the information was just presented purely visually, they will only get 54%. And based on this, you know, okay, where does my child lie? Secondly, it will also give you a prediction that the likely career path for your child, like in this case, it's arts and sports science. It does not mean they can't do STEM, because you can still see STEM, they score very high, that is 72. And anything above 60 is a probable career path for them to pick. But you'll find some who are well spread out and some who are leaning on one side. Now, let me say this. As we know, the government has given certain KPIs when it comes to these career pathways. They say at least 60% of the students, is it 60 or 50%? I'll get the figures, will be taken to STEM. You will find that about, I think there is 30, 20%, depending with the figures, they go to STEM, arts and sports sciences, and the other one will go to social sciences. So once you know that there are certain KPIs that the government wants to align and get students in these different pathways, how can you align your child and their performance to what they really are best in? The best thing about this report assessment is once you will get a report with recommendations for teachers on how best to assist the child. And also for you as a parent, what are some of the things that you can do to support the child through their learning style and their career pathways. It will give you the career options and university courses that they might end up taking if they continue in that path. Also, it benefits the students in the sense that, number one, it boosts their confidence and motivation by aligning education with their natural strengths, especially when a student realizes that this is how I learn best, and they get the confidence to approach that education, knowing that this is the area where they're naturally strong at. The result you get is just out of this world. Attainment improves when a child gets to know that they are confident in terms of education being aligned with what they do best. You will also get personalized learning plans tailored to the learning style. So they know, like for me, I'm more of an auditory. How do we plan for these lessons? And then, as I say, having this early career guidance discussion is very important to help you set realistic and achievable goals. You find that probably, if you're like me, the only time I had a discussion about career is when I was going to change my university course. And still, I was only picking a course that is within my points based on what I had scored. And I didn't even know what that course is all about. My parents were not in a position to advise me. Actually, I remember a friend, a family friend was called, who also went to the university just to help me do those career course choices. Actually, it's not a career choice. It was just the courses, because you pick what you have been given. Other benefits is that as a parent, you gain the insights into your child's strength and potential career paths. This is very important. You're no longer just guessing, you're getting it from a scientific point of view. Teachers can now even tailor instruction methods to suit the individual learning style. And this collaborative approach, where we have the parents, we have the teacher, we have the child, all working together towards this outcome. It's the African three-legged stool, where if one is not there, then you can't sit on it, you will fall. But when all of them are combined, you have astronomical results. So these are just some of the comments that we have gotten from teachers and parents who have had their children go through this assessment. You can see there Lisa Kipkorila, parent, saying the insights from the assessment. Let me just try to bring it closer. Yeah, the insights from the assessment were incredibly accurate. My daughter feels more confident and motivated to pursue her interests. The career coaching session was invaluable. We have another parent here, Sophia, saying, as a parent, I was struggling with how best to support my child. The expert advice provided was tailored to our needs, has made a significant difference in our approach to our child education. I highly recommend this assessment to all parents. I know sometimes parents, we have the resources, we have the willingness to help, but we don't know where to start. We don't know where do we have this conversation. But at least you can see for Sophia, because of this expert guidance, she also herself has the knowledge and confidence on how to support their child. And there's another teacher here called Catherine Zhao saying these assessments were a game changer for my school students. I can now tailor my teaching to each child's need, making learning more engaging and effective. If the students are not engaged, then we are losing a big part of in terms of learning. Only when students are engaged will they learn more. When they know that they are more of a visual learner and that is how they absorb most of the information, they'll say, "Sir, Miss, I don't understand. Can you show it to me? Can I do it with my hands?" Because they know probably they are more of the kinesthetic learners. So that is quite great feedback that we have gotten. So what are you going to get if today you decide you want to take up this assessment? Number one, you'll have an introduction session where we orient you and your child to this assessment. Then you will get access to this assessment, which takes about 15 to 20 minutes. You do it online. Immediately, you will be able to download an individualized report for your child, and then we will plan a career counseling session. At this time, I am doing it as group session, or we can even plan for one-on-one with between me, you, and your student. The cost of this assessment currently is at only 2,999, and the value that you can get out of it is like almost 10,000. Personally, when I'm doing coaching, when I'm doing career counseling session, I would charge up to 6,000, 10,000 per hour. But you are getting all this. You're getting the orientation session, you're getting the assessment, you're getting the report, and the career counseling session for only 2,999. Now, I am giving this as a special offer that will be running from today through to, I think, up tomorrow. So if you're able to make the payment right now, please secure that for yourself. Just go to the till number, buy goods and services. The till number is 715732. You can make your payment. If you make it when we are here live, you will also get a bonus session where we do one-on-one coaching session, not the group coaching session. So if you can be able to make the payment while we are here live, I'll be happy just to let me know in the comments, and I'll at least give you a shout out. So what is this career counseling session? Normally, I would do it after work. I don't want to interfere with your work. So Fridays between 7:30 to 8:30. We can have one tomorrow. We can have one on Saturday between 2:30 to 3:30. And we can also have another session on Monday between 7:30 and 8:30 p.m. Now, if you're doing one-on-one, it will not take long, about 10-15 minutes. Sometimes it can go even 30 minutes based on how much we are going to discuss. If it is a group discussion, I try to make it within that 1 hour, because there's something you might learn from another person. So if you want to have that one-on-one between me, you, and your child, you can make the payment today, right now, while we're here live. If not, you can pay even tomorrow, and then we can schedule any of these timings. So why the amplitude assessment? Just to tell you that our amplitude assessment is designed to evaluate the students' learning styles and career pathway accurately. This is aligned with what we call the Bloom's taxonomy, which emphasizes the importance of assessing various cognitive skills from basic knowledge to higher thinking level. If you are an educationist or you have been in the space, you might have come across Bloom's taxonomy. theory. We also have based our assessment and is being supported by what is called the Gardner's theory, Howard Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences. What Howard just said is that individuals have different kinds of intelligences, yeah, including linguistic, logistical, mathematical, spatial, and more. And our assessment is designed to capture these diverse intelligences, providing a comprehensive profile of each of the student strength. So you really need to think about it's not just theoretical, but it is really backed by scientific research. So it shouldn't be hard for you to decide which career path you would want your child to go or have that conversation. Start off. They will get to one career path, or they will be selected to go for one of these. Do you know what it entails? Do you know how you can be able to support them through this journey? Again, the assessment is only 2,999. If you have there, you can make your payment. I will be able to check if there's any question, or you can get right in touch with me. Let me put my phone number right here. WhatsApp me, probably call me in the course of the day tomorrow, and we can be able to discuss further. Is that okay? Any questions? I'll be happy to answer any question. I can see here, Stephen Keyo, may the good Lord bless you and make you bigger. Thank you very much. I really appreciate. It seems that you have gotten something of value from this conversation, and you're following us on YouTube. I really appreciate, Stephen. If you have any question, don't hesitate to drop it in the comments. I'll be able to respond. But in the meantime, you can just go to Lipa na M-Pesa, buy goods and services. The till number is 715732. Just make that deposit of 2,999. I will get in touch with you and set up the assessment for you, and we can be able to proceed. I can see another comment coming in here. In though a few minutes late. Welcome, Sharon. Hopefully you've gotten the concept or what we have been discussing. Is this something that you would want to engage in? I'll be happy to add you in the program. So you want to get in touch? That's my phone number. As I wait for questions and comments as they are coming in, let me also say that you might be probably asking, is this too early for us to have this kind of conversation about careers with my child? I'll tell you this. During adolescence, significant cognitive development occurs, and enhancing abstract thinking, problem solving, and decision making. And this is the best time to be able to engage. And according to Piaget's theory of cognitive development, adolescents, when they are entering that age 12, is the time when they get to what we call the formal operational stage, where they develop the ability to think logically and hypothetically. Now, this cognitive maturity enables them to make more informed and rational decisions about their future. And so this, I would say, is the best time. If you can look at how we progress as human beings in terms of our cognitive development at age 12, that is when we move to that formal operational. So don't feel like maybe my child is too young, they don't understand all this career stuff. You will be surprised what they know about themselves and their capabilities. And only when they get your support, you're able to take them to the next level. So let me check if we have any question here. Again, as I said, if you want to take this opportunity right away, go to buy goods and services, Lipa na M-Pesa. The till number is 715732. Make that deposit of 2,999. This will guarantee that you get, number one, the orientation session where we talk about the assessment and how you can go about it. You do the assessment, or the child does the assessment. You get the personalized report and the career counseling session. I guess I can't see any questions, so I will pause it there. Yeah. If there's any question, let me know. If none, let me know also in the chat. Probably what would you say is your number one takeaway from today's session? I want to believe that it has been a session that you have learned something, that you have been able to gather something in terms of how you as a parent, you can support your child through these CBC career pathways. If you are a teacher, probably you have a bit more information on how you can best support them. But if you want to get in touch with me, let's talk more. Follow me or WhatsApp me. We'll talk tomorrow, and I can be able to sign you up for the CBC aptitude assessment. And since there are no questions, I think I'll pause it there. And until next time, I'm out. Thank you very much.